So now let's go to the more practical aspect of the calibration. At the beginning of the project, you will be given several pieces of equipment. The first one is, of course, the nitriscope scanner. It will be delivered in this box. Inside, you will have a user manual, a charging cable, and a scanner. Okay. We'll go through the account creation process and also getting your scanner ready for sampling in the next portion of this video. The next piece of equipment that you will receive are these sampling bags. They won't look exactly like that because these are props that I just made for the purpose of this video, but the label will look like that. And what is important is the barcode on top of it where you can see the lab ID. That's the lab ID I was referring to in our previous video and the critical piece of information that we absolutely need to record before doing the scan. And finally, the last piece of equipment that you will receive several boxes like this one. These are provided by FedEx. They enable the transportation of the leaf tissue in cold condition for a period of 96 hours. They will use this cold engine that you will activate before finishing during the packing section by pressing on this button. I won't do it now, of course. And so this cold engine will enable the leaf to stay at a temperature of around 4 degrees Celsius for 96 hours, which hopefully will be more than the time needed from the moment you cut the leaf in the field to the moment they are received by the laboratory and ready for analysis. So in the next section, we'll go back to Nutriscope, look quickly how to create an account and get the scanner ready for calibration. So let's start. So the first thing you will need to do when you receive your Nutriscope is to create an account. So for that, you will need to go to Sensine website, www.sensine.us. So let me share the screen so that we can have a better vision of what we are doing. Okay, so now you should be able to see my screen. So this is Sensine website. On the website, you need to go in support, submit a request. Then you enter your full name, information, phone number, 617, etc., etc. You fill the entire form. On purpose, be sure to select new account creation. And then you add all the information requested and you just submit a ticket. It will take a few days for us to process the request and create a new account. The process is not yet automated, so we have to do it manually. Once your account is created, the next step will be to download the application either from Google Play or from App Stores, depending on your provider, and log into your account the first time. So let me share my screen. We will provide link on the email to acknowledge the creation of your account to directly access this application. But once you download it, this is a home screen on the iPhone, in this case, that you will see. And the first things you will need to do is to change the password because you will be provided with a temporary password. So we want you to change the password. So for that, you enter the email you use for the account creation. And you enter the temporary password, which is usually the same Sensine 2025 exclamation mark. Yet. You log in, and now he's asking for a new password. So it is very important to create a strong password at the beginning. So a strong password has, let's say, 10 characters plus one or two symbols, a number, and a cap letter. So what I'll do is to simplify everything. I will use the same password, Sensine 2026. This time I'll change the date, 2026. So sensing, making sure that I'm not making any mistakes. 2026. And it's epic, it's more than strong, so you can update the password. And that's it. Now you're connected. So you can see on this screen that we already have product in place. When you will log in for the first time, if it's your first time user, this will be all empty. Okay, but I'm using an account that I share with other profile. So these are some of the product we already created. The next step will be to go to your profile and mark you as a contributor. The contributor mode is a mode that makes the distinction between you using Nutri-Scope as a user to measure the health of your crop or as a contributor to participate in the calibration program. So you will just type on the contributor mode on, and it will ask you to provide another password. This time the password is sen. I will type it down in contributor. Submit. And now you are logged in as a contributor. The next step will be go back to your home screen, and we will ask you to create a specific product for the calibration. That's where you will group your measurements that you are doing as part of this calibration. You may need to create several products if you participate in several calibration programs, or if you participate in calibration a year after, the next year, or every period of time if you want. Or if you don't want also to mix the scan you use for calibration purpose and the scan you use for normal crop monitoring. So for that, you add product. Because you are on a contributor mode, you will not see any selection of crop. When you are in a normal user mode, when you create a product, you need to select the crops that you are using for your crop monitoring. So I'll call calibration as product type. And the title I would give it, let's say blueberry. I would say 2026 because it's a campaign of 2026 that we are preparing, for example. So then you add a product. You confirm, and then the next is to select your product. So calibration, we have like several. So you can look for the proper product, and you get, using the filter, you get calibration blueberry 2026. You click on it, and now you're actually ready to scan. So we'll stop here, and then we'll go to the setting and start from this point. So the next step is now to prepare one bag for shipment, and that will consist in collecting the leaf sample that is going to be analyzed, cleaning them, scanning them, placing them in a lab analysis bag, and once we done this 8 times, do the packing and shipment. So let's go step by step. The first thing you need to pay attention is your work environment. So it doesn't have to be a kitchen top like it is, but you need to find a space that is clean, dry, not exposed to the external environment. So a car trunk could do the job if you are in the field. But something that will maintain the integrity of the sample and where the wind will not blow up all your leaf. Then in terms of equipment, so you need to have a set of bags. So I have only one here, but I imagine that if we do this work for 8 samples, you would have 8 bags, each of them containing 30 leaves that has been collected just prior to this step, I would say, in the field. It's important, of course, to have 8 different bags per set of 30 leaves, because the last thing you want is to have the leaf mixed up. So that would kind of destroy the purpose of this calibration. The second is, of course, to have the scanner set and ready to go, as we saw in the last part of the presentation. Your mobile phone, a set of bags from the NovaCrop for lab analysis. And if you want to be ready for the next step, which is the shipment, the box and the cold engine ready to go. You may need a pair of scissors if you need to cut the stem of the leaf when it's cut, and some paper towel for cleaning. So let's go now. So the first step is to make sure that the leaf that you are analyzing are relatively clean and dry. So what I use is you can use a paper towel. You take all the leaves in one specific bag that you've been using. You place them gently on the paper towel to make sure that they are all spread apart. Pay attention that they are not folded. Yeah, like that. And then you take a second set of paper towel and you gently press to remove all moisture and humidity, any trace of humidity. It's also the last opportunity you have to check that there is no disease or pest and that there is no trace of dust. So clean swipe if needed can be helpful for that. Once you're done, you place the leaf on the side. So I like to work on the left side of the working place and to have the sample bags on the right side to make sure that you're not scanning the same leaf twice. And then you start with your phone. So on your phone, the first thing you need to check is that you're on contributor mode, which is what we just saw. Once it's confirmed, you go to the home page, you select the product that you created for the calibration. So in our case, calibration blueberry. And then you need to make sure that the scanner is connected, which is the case here. And what you see on this screen here is that you have this field box where it's written enter lab number. You have a small button a green button on the right side. This is actually a feature that does not work on this prop, because these are props that I made for the purpose of this video, but they should work on the actual lab sample. So when you take your phone, you press on the green, you have the possibility to take a picture and scan the barcode. Here the the quality is not great. So it will scan the barcode and it will enable you to get the number directly onto the phone. So if it doesn't work, in any case, best is to enter the actual code. So in my case is S, cap Y, no, S, cap Y, then dash and 0173. And then it's important to check at least twice to make sure that you are not making any mistake here, because this is a critical step of entering the lab ID into the system, so that when we do the calibration, we can actually associate a scan number with a lab number, with a lab result. So then you are ready to scan. You have to be careful first with the scan number. So you see take group measurement, there is 30. It means that the scanner is expecting 30 leaf for this specific group measurements. If for another calibration, you need to change that number, then you press on the gear and you can update that number. So if for another crops and blueberry, we'll need only 20 leaves, you will have to update 20 leaves. But we will have a chance to repeat that many times before it starts. So I update. So now you're ready to scan. You have to be careful, because if you press take groups measurement, it will immediately start a scan. So that's not what you want. What you want first is to select a leaf, open the scanner, clip the leaf, try to avoid the central vein, but go in the middle, it's not. And then at that point, you take a group measurement. So it should take like 6-7 seconds for one scan to be executed. You see the number 0 out of 30, and now the leaf is scanned. So what you do now, very carefully, so you can place the bag on the right side, you place the leaf on the right so that you make sure to not make a mistake. You select the second leaf, you clip it, and you press next measurement. So again, you have to wait 5-6 seconds, and I will accelerate the process for the purpose of this video, but you have to count, 30 leaves, 5-6 seconds, maybe, let's say 3-4 minutes of scan, second leaves. So if everything is ready on your workspace, and properly, it can go pretty quickly. So 3. Et voilà. So once you're done with the scanning process, the scan will give you a code that is written on top. In this case, is SENOL7VFVH. You have a button to copy it and write it down on your phone if you need. It's important if you want to use for your own purpose the lab results to write down the scan number, because that's what you will need to use to look at the Excel spreadsheet where all the lab results will be aggregated so that you can find your lab results. So it's not described here, but as part of your work, if you want to analyze this data, it's important to write down, the scan card and whatever you decided to look at and analyze, so that a week or two later, when you get the results, you can make sense of it. But for our purpose, for the purpose of calibration, we don't need that. The moment you enter the lab ID into the scan at the beginning of the scanning process, we are all set. We don't need more information than what you already provided. Now, something that is absolutely critical here is to save. So you have this red and green button. It's self-explanatory, but I want to make sure. So if you don't press on the save, the whole scan will not be saved. So save, and then hit save, and it brings you back to the same page as before, and you are ready to go for the second batch. So that's kind of the different steps that have been eliminated so that we make sure we can accelerate the process. So it takes some time to get used, but once you understand the logic, it will enable you to work faster. So we are almost done with this bag. So what you do now is that you collect all the leaves you just scan. I was paying attention to make them flat and to not have them fold. And then what you do is that you open the lab analysis bag, you place them gently in the bag, trying to not fold them. You press gently to remove the air from the bag. This will save space. You close the bag, and one bag is ready. So all set. You just need to do that 7 other times, and we are ready for packing. So voila, now you completed the scanning of 8 bags of leaves. So the next step is to prepare the box for shipping. So you put the bag aside for now. The first thing that you need to do is activate the cool engine. So you just need to press here. Do not use any tool. It's with your hand. When you manipulate the cool engine, always place it on a flat surface with a metallic slide on the table or on the flat surface. Do not put it the other way around because you don't want to trigger the engine inadvertently. So place it like that. It takes 2-3 minutes for the engine to start and be cool. You can see that the engine is also cooled by this label, Nano Cool, being blue. And of course, you can check with your hands if the temperature is hot or cold. Once this is started, you can open the box. So the box is really big compared to I would say the payload volume, like they say in science. So you will have to place all those samples here. So that's why it's important to empty the air from the bag. So you place them. Try to avoid folding any bags or any leaves in the process. And it's maybe saving some space if you put them one on the right side, one on the left side. But you judge. It depends on the crops. So you place all your leaves, all the bags. So this one, for example, is has some hair. So I'll press it, taking too much space. Much better. And this one, and all the bag. And as you can see, the box is filled, I would say, around 60% of the box, which is okay. I mean, it's okay to have some space. But if, for example, you have a chance to do a couple of more scans and it fits in the box, do not hesitate. The more scan, the better, as long as they tell a different story. Then you take the nano cool box. Be careful to keep the seal here, the polystyrene foam, I guess, seals. And you place it on top, this time with the engine facing down. So facing down. Now you have to have the aluminum part, the metallic part on the top. And then you can close the box and tape it on all the edges securely. You will be provided shipping label when you will receive the box or the scanner. We will also give you shipping labels. You just need to stick the shipping label and send and post this to any FedEx office in near you. The shipping label will include all the custom documents, so you don't have to worry about any document to be sent together with the box. You just drop the box. Ideally, it's better to drop the box on a Friday so that the box can leave on Friday and fly over the weekend and arrive in the Netherlands at the beginning of the week. Try to avoid, shipping box on Wednesday, Thursday, because you may end up crossing the border during the weekend and thus creating delay in the shipment process. Nonetheless, they are valid for 96 hours, so 4 days, and they should be able to maintain the temperature during the whole trip. So we are done with the basic process of scanning, calibration, and packing. We'll stop here and we'll have a short conclusion video now. Thank you. So thank you very much for your attention. In conclusion, there are a couple of points that I would like to repeat about the calibration and also about the next steps and what is it for, what we can do together in the future. So first, I will repeat it again, but when you do the work of collecting data for Nutri-Scope calibration, do not forget to enter correctly the lab ID in the application before doing the scan. It's critical. There is one thing you need to remember from all this video is this point, because if we don't have the lab ID, we cannot make the connection between the report and the scan, and the work you will have done will be for naught. Then the second point is about the calibration strategy, the homogeneity in one bag and the diversity across bags. So this is really important because when we collect one bag from you, when we collect the data from one analysis, we collect more than just the raw data of the scan plus the lab report. We collect a piece of your expertise, a piece of your intelligence. You would have selected this specific case because maybe in your mind you would have thought, okay, if I was a grower and if I was facing this specific condition, I wish Nutri-Scope would have helped me to solve and understand what's going on. So I will take this bag and I will take this sample so that we can see the result. And next year, if me or another grower is facing the same condition, Nutri-Scope will be able to help them identify the underlying problems or what's happening. So it's more than the raw data. When you select a story in the bag, you help with Nutri-Scope with your intelligence and your expertise. So that's very important. Then next step. There is a couple of next steps we could consider once this project is completed. So first, at the end of this project, we will have a calibration model based on something like 500 data points. As I mentioned, we would like this group of calibration data points to increase every year, a little bit. Not 500 every year, because that would be too much work, but we would like to continue to build a long-term relationship with you and with other growers to say, so that when you're in the field next year and you say, oh, this is a case that we haven't seen last year and that could be interesting, that's expanding the domain of Nutri-Scope. So if you could, take the sample, scan it, send to the lab, contact us if you have any problem with logistic or something like that. That would be great, because this is how we'll improve year after year the quality of our models for your crop. And the next step is that maybe also as a follow-up project, we could decide to work on other aspects that are not covered by today's calibration. So today we do nutrients, but maybe next year we could start working on pH, Brix, redox, conductivity, so that we can add plant health and the calculation of the stress index on the plant. Or maybe in 2 years we could partner with university and academic partners to try to see if Nutri-Scope can help identify the onset of disease or pest attacks. That's the kind of things that we would like to do with Nutri-Scope. And for that, we'll need partnership with growers and probably partnership with academic partners. So that's the kind of things that we see. So we do more. We are just planting the seed, and the pun is intended for a much broader and a much larger partnership that we hope we will grow and nurture together. And finally, if you have any question, if there is any glitch, any problem, you can always contact us. I will put the email to contact us here. We always read the message. We may not respond in 24 hours, but we read everything. So don't worry. If you have any question, contact us. We will answer you. So thank you very much again for everything. I'm very much looking forward collaborating with you for this Nutri-Scope calibration. And I hope to see you soon in the field. Goodbye.